combat sports, ranging from boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. I'm Kyle McCracken.
And I'm Coven Gady.
And today we're going to discuss a little bit about these past weekend's fights. The Glory 21 card on Friday.
Yep.
The Canelo Alvarez fight Saturday, and as well as the Mark Hunt-Stipe Miocic fight. That was also Saturday night.
All of them pretty controversial fights, except maybe the Stipe Miocic fight.
Well, it all depends on what you're looking at. Let's start out with the Artem Levin Simon Marcus fight, because I know you had some strong opinions on that.
I did. The Glory 21 fight card. I do believe that Simon Marcus scored a good 4 out of 5 rounds throughout that entire fight. Very definitive. I'd say a good 10 out of 9 for 4 out of 5.
There was the controversial scorecards in that some people thought Simon Marcus had clearly won it. Some people thought Artem Levin did enough to squeak by. But do you think that third round point deduction caused any effect in the scores?
Because they went to a majority draw, but Artem Levin got a point deducted from him in the third round
for the excessive clinching.
For excessive clinching. And honestly, even if Simon Marcus still went to a draw with winning 4 out of 5 rounds, even if they didn't take that point away, I still think that it would have went to a draw or a unanimous decision in Artem Levin's favor.
There's always that old saying,
I want to see a rematch.
Don't let it go to the judges.
But that was Friday night,
Yeah,
and then Saturday night was the boxing round for HBO, the
Canelo Alvarez versus James Kirkman fight.
That's right.
And Canelo Alvarez started out, for the first, I want to say, maybe minute, James Kirkland just came in and poured it on him. But then Canelo found his range, he found his timing, and he put him down quickly in the first round. Kirkland got up, and it moved on to the second, and it just seemed more the same. Canelo was beating on him. And then in the third, he scored another knockdown.
Yeah, and right before he got the brutal knockout.
Kirkland managed to get up, but you could see he was pretty much done, and then he closed it out with a brutal third-round overhand right and just shut him off. Ref didn't even bother counting that one.
Okay, and also that happened that weekend. Saturday was the new UFC card, somewhere in Australia, I do believe it was.
It was UFC Fight Night 65, Stipe Miocic versus Mark Hunt.
Which was a very one-sided bout.
Very one-sided. I know I got that pick wrong on Friday.
I did too. I went with Mark Hunt and was terribly, terribly wrong. It was like I said, it was a very one-sided bout. Stipe Miocic showed a very good performance through all 5 rounds until getting a TKO in the fifth round.
It was takedown, ground and pound, rinse and repeat. There was a few 10-8 rounds in there, I believe.
No,
it was very one-sided.
Where does Stipe go after this?
Considering that Cain Velasquez is just coming back from his long layoff, he could be facing a number 1 contenders bout, because I don't think he'll get the title shot right off the bat. I think there's a guy in Travis Brown, if he beats Andrei Arlovski, who'll get it before him. But he could fight a guy like Alistar Overeem. I don't think they'll match him up with Dos Santos, because he lost to Dos Santos in a close fight in December. It really depends on who's free and the timing of that championship bout.
And what about Mark Hunt? Where does he go after that loss?
He's 10-1 now. It's his second straight loss. He's only lost to the top of the division, but at 40 years old, having only won a single out of his last 5 fights, he needs to step down in competition, or he might need to just think about retirement, because he's had a long career and he's taken a lot of damage.
Do you think he could maybe choose changing his weight class as an option?
Mark Hunt's a big Samoan guy. I don't see him making anything below 230.
And what weight class is he, just for the people who don't know?
He's a heavyweight in the UFC's heavyweight division.
Okay. That's pretty much all that happened this weekend. We had, like I said, the Glory 21 card, Artem Levin versus Simon Marcus.
Raymond Daniels had that great spinning back kick knockout.
Yeah, he was also in that fight card. A very good fight.
Robert Whitaker announced his possible contendership in the middleweight division of the UFC on the Mark Hunt card, as he got a 44-second knockout in the first round.
And you can catch Glory fights on Spike TV.
As well as the UFC cards come on Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, UFC Fight Pass, and of course, pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Anything else happen in the UFC fight card with the Stipe Miocic Mark Hunt fight?
Some Hatsu Hioki.
Oh yeah, that was a really good fight. I really enjoyed that. A few years ago,
Hatsu Hioki was one of the number 1 featherweights coming out of Japan. Everybody was like, he should fight Jose Aldo. We'll see who the legitimate best featherweight in the world is. but he turned down the title shot. He said he wanted to get ready, ended up
Train
losing
more.
his next few fights, and now hasn't won but a single fight in the last 3 years.
But he kind of came back from it
And,
this weekend.
Daniel Hooker scored a brutal knockout with head kick and punches on him in the second round of that fight. Huge upset.
Sad. Well, that was pretty much all for this weekend. I think we have some stuff to talk about next weekend, though.
Oh, yeah, the big
Very excited about this. You want to reveal it to him?
UFC Fight Night Manila. Former lightweight champion Frankie the Answer Edgar takes on former WEC featherweight champion Uriah Faber at 145 pounds.
Very excited about this. Very excited.
For anybody who's followed those lower weight classes, Faber built the WEC's 145-pound division on his shoulders. He was the star. He's a legend of the lower weight classes. And Frankie the Answer Edgar took the lightweight title from BJ Penn. So this to me is a super fight. It may not have the title implications, but this is a big fight.
No, you got two big names fixing to go against each other. I mean,
Two fan favorites.
Two fan favorites, big name guys, very popular. If you had to pick a winner, who would you go for?
My heart would tell me to go with Uriah Faber.
Same here.
Because I've been a Uriah Faber fan since I started watching MMA in 2008. His first fight with Jens Pulver was phenomenal. But it has been a long career for Faber. I do believe he's starting to slow down a little bit. And Frankie the Answer Edgar has just looked amazing in
his last
fights.
performance versus Cub Swanson, I do
He
believe
just
it was.
looked
He
demolished.
looked fantastic, just so crisp, very polished. He did a very good performance in that. Whereas Uriah Faber hasn't had a fight in the past, 5-6 months maybe?
6 or 7 months maybe. He hasn't fought since UFC 181.
In my opinion, I honestly think Frankie Edgar is going to take this one.
I have to agree with you.
I don't really know if there's any specific round, but I do believe he's going to take the win over Uriah Faber. He's just a much more polished guy. He's been training hard. He's been working at it, and I don't know. He just seems hungrier than Uriah Faber does.
Faber will always be a legend. He cemented that status, but it seems like
taking
Edgar
nothing away from him.
Edgar still has some of his story to write, it seems. He still has a little bit left in the tank. Not saying that Faber, is completely done, but it seems like Edgar still has a few chapters in his book to write.
Is there anybody else noticeable on this fight card?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember at the moment. I'd have to look at it, but the big boxing match that weekend.
That is happening on HBO Boxing, that's right.
Gennady Golovkin, middleweight champ in boxing, which is 160 pounds. I know there's 17 different boxing weight classes. They're hard to keep track of, we know. But he's facing Willie Monroe Jr., which, I'll be honest about it, in my opinion, is kind of a squash fight because nobody else will fight him.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to fight him. Carl Froch said he wouldn't want to fight him. I know it's kind of a silly matchup because he is much bigger than Mayweather, but Floyd Sr., or it was either Roger Mayweather or Floyd Sr. said, we're not fighting that giant. Said they're not fighting him. And Miguel Cotto has spent the last, I want to say, year and a half avoiding that fight, which for Miguel Cotto I can understand. He's in the twilight of his career, and the last thing he wants to do is go out getting beaten on by a monster like him.
And nobody wants to go out like that. That's never good.
So I will make a prediction on that one, very one-sided. I've got Gennady Golovkin by knockout or TKO within the first, I want to say maybe 6-7 rounds.
Okay.
I'm being bold on that one.
a little bit. That's pretty much happening for next weekend. I think we covered everything for the past weekend.
Give a little look into the Daniel Cormier.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is happening.
Rumble Johnson card. Because on the 23rd, I don't know when the next time we'll be up here, be able to put out some information, so we'll touch up on that real quick. UFC light heavyweight champion John Jones, due to his alleged
legal
controversies,
troubles, has been took out of the next fight card with Anthony Rumble Johnson, and Daniel Cormier has been replaced to fight him. And when was it again?
It's May 23rd, and it is going to be for the UFC light heavyweight title because John Jones had his belt stripped of him until he can sort out all of his legal issues.
And this would be the interim champ, right?
Oh no, this is plain championship. Jones has been stripped, so it is for the undisputed UFC light heavyweight title.
All right, I'm super excited to see that one. I'm big Rumble Johnson
Cerrone's on that
card. Love Donald Cerrone. Love Rumble Johnson. Well, definitely want to see him win.
And he was supposed to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, but Khabib Nurmagomedov injured his knee
he got
again
injured.
and won't be back till I think October. So he's facing John McDessie, who had a first-round TKO at UFC 186 a couple weeks ago. Stepped in, he was like, "I'll fight Cowboy on a couple weeks' notice." I wouldn't.
No, not happening. I think that's pretty much it for all the current events, all the events happening this next weekend, and all the events that happened last weekend.
If you'd like, you can follow us on Twitter. Follow our podcast Twitter page. It's a Coven and Kyle's Martial Arts Talk. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, at Martial Arts Talk on Twitter.
If you can't, go to my profile or his profile. It should be there. Just give us some feedback. Tell us what you guys think.
Thank you very much. I'm Kyle McCracken.
I'm Coven Gady.
Signing off.
Later, guys.